Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Hi all my students. Okay, today we'll proceed to the next topic in PUB253 publishing course, which is binding specification. As previous session, I do expose to you about book production or book design. That related to book design is binding specification. Big umbrella of binding can be divided into these three types of binding: stitching binding, adhesive binding, mechanical binding. So we need to say that all the publications that available in our industry basically will apply this kind of binding. Okay, first I would like to introduce you about stitching binding. So basically, what is stitching binding method? Okay, stitching binding can be divided into two types, side and saddle stitching. As simple as this method, I can say uh, the stitching binding is stapler binding, where the binding apply in the middle of the publication or of the book or the magazine. Okay, this is the simple binding method, the most costless method compared to others kind of binding. Okay, so how to do this kind of binding? We do the inserting one or more than one wires through the fold line. It can be in the middle side or saddle stitching, or it can be side stitching. It is suitable for thinner book or publications such as booklets, newsletters, magazines, children books, comics, which is commonly applied less than 20 pages of the publication. So meaning to say that if you have less than 20 pages of publication, the stitching binding is best for the binding type. Okay, what are the advantages of stitching binding? So they are flatter than perfect binding. Flatter meaning to say is that if you hold the publication, they will not turn around. Okay, for example, your exercise book during your secondary school. Okay, applying stitching binding. So when you hold the book, they are not turn around. Meaning to say they are not flipping. Second is quicker turnaround. You can simply fold it, okay, and this is lower cost of binding. Of course, this is have stitching binding have disadvantages. Okay, working in signatures, multiple panels, meaning to say that single sheets of paper will have 4 pages. Okay, so if you lose one sheet of paper, it will lose 4 pages. Okay, and then this is not good, or this is not suitable for heavy duty publication. For example, if your book mainly for reference text, so this is not suit for that kind of publication, because if reference text use stitching binding, it is easier to tear off. Okay, and it is inappropriate for heavy use, and they are not, this is not durable stitching binding. Okay, spines forms a blunt point, meaning to say that the stitching binding don't have spine area. If the publications do not have spine area, it is not suit for library display, or even uh, located in bookstore, especially in for the display for the of the book, because we don't have the information of the book. So sticky binding is not suit for this kind of placement. If you're choosing stitching binding for thicker book, so what gonna be to happen? So most probably tendency to spring open. So this is not good refinement for the publication. Okay, this is the example of stitching binding. On your left side, this is the side stitching. where it's applied for the site publication, while this is the center stitching, commonly said as stepper binding. Okay, this is what we call the blunt spine point, where we don't have the information of the book. So this kind of binding is not suited for the library or bookstore display. Yes, you can use you can apply this kind of binding and can uh, promote this book in the bookstore. But the best way to display, we are using facing wrap book, such as newspaper display. Okay, move on to the adhesive binding. Okay, this part will be covered to the next session. Okay, stay tuned.